You can see if we zoom into Charlotte County, a little closer inspection there, kind of showing right where the, at least just north of where the 2 is there for the Category 2 hurricane that we're dealing with now. You can see the winds, the way it's rotating, you can see it's just kind of from northeast to southwest, pardon me, and that is where the storm is right now, basically just north of Fort Myers, starting to lift northward. So we're looking at Charlotte County, and the areas that you met, Babcock Ranch, is basically on the northwest eye wall now. So they're getting some winds. They're still getting those winds in at around 75 to 80 miles per hour. But the center of circulation, though, is just to the north and east of Fort Myers, and is beginning to pull away out of Lee County now into Charlotte County. The heaviest winds, though, are in the central and eastern portions of Charlotte County, and also up and down Highway 29. Not so much in Immokalee anymore. There's still some strong winds there, but really from really along 29 through north through LaBelle and getting up into areas of southeastern DeSoto County. So it looks like the stronger winds now beginning to push into the Arcadia area, and this will continue northward into Highlands County over the next several minutes. But you can kind of see how Arcadia, we're getting those bands of rain pushing through, but the center of the storm is still in northeast Lee County. It looks like it's right on top of Buckingham and Alva now, and that's going to move northward.
Precious McKay, is on our live feed, which is on our Facebook page. So if you don't have power and you have your phone and you want to watch along with us as we walk you through this storm, we would love to have you. She wants to know, please, is Lehigh Acres clear?
No, Lehigh Acres is not clear. You guys have seen the northern eye wall, but we're still expecting strong winds on the backside of the storm, even though there won't be as much rain. Lehigh Acres, no, you are not safe. Stay inside, shelter in place until really through the rest of tonight. I don't really see any reason why you need to go anywhere tonight. The winds should start to calm down here by tomorrow morning. It'll still be breezy, but it won't be as bad as it was. The storm will be much farther away. But as far as Lehigh Acres is concerned, the back edge of the eye, you see we've got the storm track on there, getting into the area at about 8:12. So what time is it now? Looks like it's just short of 8 o'clock.
7:56.
7:56. So in about another 30 minutes or 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit earlier than that, we're going to start to see the backside of that storm with the winds coming from the other direction.
All right, just a reminder, you can talk to us on Facebook right now. We can answer your questions. You can also email each one of us directly. Derek Beasley, it's derek.beasley, Beasley, at fox4now.com. Amy Wegman, amy.wegman, Wegmann.
2 N's.
2 N's. And Patrick.Nolan, Nolan, at fox4now.com.
She's got the easy one.
I know, and you can mándame un email en español si tú quieres. So we're going to give you the information in Spanish and English, however you want it here. But Gilbert Villaverde just emailed me and said they've been watching fox4now.com from a shelter in Palm Beach County.
Okay.
And they want to know, and this is the thing about the storm now that we've seen the values drop a little bit, people are like, he wants to know when we can come back to Cape Coral is his question.
It's too early to say that.
Right. Too early to do it, for sure.
Because the storm is still just moving through the area.
People are so anxious to get home.
Southwest Florida.
Yeah, trust me, yes. It'd be nice to get things back to normal, but we're going to have to wait, of course, for law enforcement and everybody, all the proper authorities to do their damage assessments and assess the situation to make sure that it is safe to get back to the area. But you can see how big the storm is, stretching all the way across the state. Just about the entire state experiencing hurricane-force winds at some point during this entire time the storm's been affecting the area.
And Terry Engel writing in, Derek, will the eye go anywhere near Port Charlotte or Northport?
Well, you're on the very western edge, and I was thinking earlier that the eye actually would go up towards Northport, but it looks like Northport, Port Charlotte, and down to Punta Gorda on the western edge, so kind of on the northwestern part of the eye wall. The actual center of it, though, is right over Lehigh Acres now in Buckingham, and it's going due north. So if you live anywhere east of Arcadia, that's where the center of the storm is going to track. Now, the center of the storm, of course, is where things start to calm down a little bit, although that may not be the case as much anymore as it's starting to fill in. But really, it's going to be anywhere, really from anywhere from Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte eastward over to the western portions of Glades County, so just east of, really between LaBelle and Moorhaven. That's how wide this thing is as far as the eye or the center of the storm is from Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte. If you draw a line all the way east to halfway between LaBelle and Moorhaven, that's how wide it is. So that's really where the entire circulation is now, and it's going to be moving north up into DeSoto County.
I do want to say, Derek answered the question for Precious Cochran McKay. Are we in the clear in Lehigh Acres? She just messaged us on Facebook Live that her Wi-Fi keeps cutting out because they're without power or light. So could someone message her? So could our IT team or our online team, our digital team, please message her, Precious Cochran McKay, and get her the answer that she needs? And again, if you have questions, we are streaming live on our Facebook page right now. You can ask us questions. You can also, as Patrick said, send us emails or just send us private messages to our, work Facebook pages. We'd be happy to take those and get you the answers as soon as we can. We're hearing from Nathaniel Abram Maxwell of some property off Highway 31 is flooded. They're in about a foot of water so far. So, we're going to keep hearing reports of this. And again, we keep talking about this storm surge and how it's just not over yet. You see the eye of the storm and you see the underside of it moving out of South Florida or in Southwest Florida, Collier County, but it's a point worth driving home. I feel like I've said it 100 times, but it's worth saying again because you can't go back to your house yet because we don't know when this water is going to rise. In some areas, it hasn't happened yet, correct?
In some areas, the water has not. It's already starting to rise in Collier County, but I said the west winds are going to have to switch around to the west, and that's when the water is going to start coming back, particularly in Lee County. And that, from what I can tell from here, that's only happening in the southern portion of the county now. So it's going to take a little while longer for the center to get even farther north, likely up when it gets close to Arcadia up in DeSoto County, for all of Lee County to start getting that west wind. And that's where we're going to start to see that water get pushed back in there. Now, the good news is with this storm moving over land, like I said, as opposed to the track that we were expecting last night where we stayed just offshore, the storm surge values have been cut down some. Some of the areas that we were looking at earlier, particularly in Collier County, 9 to 11 feet now, as opposed to the 10 to 15 feet. That's still high, but the storm is not nearly as powerful at this time that we were expecting it to be just offshore. So again, these areas in Collier County still going to be dealing with those issues there from Marco Island. We're already starting to see the water rise there, and also down into the area around Chokoloskee and Everglades City. Now, we've got the new 8 o'clock update.
Excuse me.
And this is still encouraging. Okay. Winds now down to 105.
Oh, so they keep dropping.
That's great.
Yeah,
not by a ton, but
as long as it stays over land, it's going to keep weakening. So gradually you're going to see with these updates, the winds are going to come down probably by 5 to 10 mile an hour increments. So I think that the storm now basically located about 15 miles east-northeast of Fort Myers, which we just said, or about 30 miles to the southeast of Port Charlotte. So that would put it in northeast Lee County. At the center, it's going to go over the eastern portions of DeSoto County. So as that tracks northward, that's where we're going to see that westerly wind pick up, and we're still expecting that dangerous storm surge. The Hurricane Center is still emphasizing, though, that dangerous storm surges are still expected in areas of onshore winds along the Florida west coast, which means, like I've been saying, when the winds shift around out of the west off the Gulf, that's when the water rise is going to start to pick back up across the area. Trevor, thank you for that.
Let me give you a question from Claire Lyons. Emailed me and said, what's the news on Arcadia? Will there be any flooding? And, of course, that's DeSoto County, which is feeling it now, right?
Yeah, they're getting quite a bit of rain now, and they're getting some of the heaviest rain that they're going to be seeing over the next couple of hours. Now, Arcadia, we've had some wind gusts. Like I said, in the Sebring area, we actually had wind gusts in around 70 or 80 miles an hour. And that's what you can expect in Arcadia. I think you'll have winds, especially near the core, as it moves northward. You'll get some gusts up to 100, but you'll probably have sustained winds 70, 80 once the storm begins moving northward across the region. But anyway, you can see that the center of the storm now, northeast Lee County, about to push into DeSoto County. And you can kind of see how the bands just kind of wrap back westward through Port Charlotte. So there's still some strong winds there. We're not forgetting about you folks over in Sarasota County as well, and out towards the Inglewood area and down southward towards Rotunda and the Cape Hayes Peninsula.
Before we go back to Charlotte County, I just want to emphasize, this is the National Weather Service saying this, dangerous storm surge.
Still, this threat is still there.
And I really, everything's relative, and, you kind of get caught up in this, and I always say this when it comes to severe weather, don't be a size queen. Don't be like, oh, cool, it's only hurricane, category 2 now. And the same thing, like, it's only storm surge 6 feet or 3 feet instead of 9. That's nuts. That's still enough to hurt you and jack you up in your property. So take it seriously.
That's the thing, is you have such an eloquent way of
Yes, he does.
I know my viewers' language. I got to get right to it.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. We don't want you to let your guard down because the storm has lost a little bit of intensity, because it's still dangerous out there, and there's no reason you should be outside or on the roadways tonight. But we do expect improving conditions tomorrow as the storm moves away and weakens even more.
All right, so we want